Welcome everyone back to W.H.A.T News. I'm your anchor, Mike Rack, and with me is my co-anchor, Long John Terrison. You know, John, last night I read this amazing article. It's just called Brain Go How by Daniel Kahneman. It's really changed my views on things, you know. So I'm just throwing away all the news today, doing no news, all about psychology actually. I'm calling it Psychology the Musical.
See, that's why I should be in charge of naming things. And why did I not get informed of this?
Well, there's no reason for that. You know, we have a little fun on the way, actually. It's a newest collaborative album. It is simply called Psychology the Musical.
Did you name that too?
Open your ears and listen to this.
For the low price of your 2 lungs, you could buy the newest album named Psychology the Musical. We have a hotshot, Sigmund Freud, and Don't Be a Freud.
Don't be afraid to talk to your therapist. I'm Sigmund Freud, and I am your therapist. Yeah.
Now we go to Jean Piaget in Piaget's Ballad.
Oh my love, you teach me so how a human mind can grow.
The next song in the album is by B.F. Skinner in his newest rock song, Rat in a Box.
Rat in the box. Push the buttons. Do it.
That was quite a song, don't you think, John?
I have never listened to music in my life. But I thought that was pretty good.
Since we're already here, I figured we would talk about a little of the inspiration behind the album.
You mean like the actual people in the album?
Yeah, you know, from...
Like the artists?
Yes, the artists.
The people who wrote the songs?
Yes, the people who wrote the songs.
Okay.
So, of course, we have Freud, we have Skinner, and we have Piaget, who were all present in that song. You know, I'll talk about Freud first. And Sigmund Freud was born May 6th in 1856. He was born in Austria, which is now Czechoslovakia. And Freud's family moved to England when he was an adolescent. And at the age of 17, he attended the University of Vienna. And in 1886, he began to use hypnosis as a matter of treatment. Realized that didn't work too well. So then he created what is now known as free association. And by the year of 1896, he began to use the term psychoanalysis.
That was a very abridged version, don't you think?
Well, it has to be, unless you want to be here for 10 hours.
Right.
Why don't you do Skinner?
Alright, so let me look at my notes.
I wrote it down for you, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Skinner was born on March 20th, 1904. He was born in Pennsylvania, and he attended Hamilton College with the intention of becoming a writer. He graduated from that same college and then later attended Harvard. He researched and taught at Harvard after that, and also taught at other universities such as Minnesota and Illinois. Skinner's beliefs were published in his book, The Behavior of Organisms.
See? Wasn't that just fun?
Well, it was something. Oh, and we forgot about to talk about... So, what's next, Mike and I?
Not call me that again.
Okay. It seems that approaches to psychology are next.
Oh, you see, I was feeling, a little lazy, so I paid someone else to do this part for me.
Okay. Enjoy, I guess.
The first approach is Gestalt psychology. Gestalt roughly translates to whole. Gestalt psychology deals with the fact that a sensory experience can be broken down. It's more about how they react to each other as a whole. In music, you can hear individual notes, but the real joy in music is all of the melodies, rhythms, and harmonies that you can hear. The next approach is psychoanalytic. Psychoanalytic says that unconscious motivations influence behavior. Sigmund Freud is a big name. Behavioral psychology is next. Events in the environment influence our behavior. Ivan Pavlov and his crazy dog that everyone talks about. The F. Skinner as well. Humanistic psychology states that everyone has room for growth. Maslow and Rogers. We will explore this topic further later. Cognitive psychology is how information is processed, stored, and retrieved and how it affects our behavior. Biological psychology basically says that biological factors influence behavior. And finally, sociocultural psychology. Ethnicity, gender, culture, and socioeconomic status affect our behavior. I am now going to take my money and disappear forever.
Moving along in our broadcast, we have The Line of Time. Trademark. The subject of The Line of Time is psychology. So this is basically the history of psychology. Our first stop on The Line of Time is Wilhelm Wundt. Wilhelm Wundt was a German scientist. He was the first person who could be considered a psychologist. He is also known as the father of psychology. And the next stop on The Line of Time is William James. William James was a North American psychologist who was the first North American psychologist who had a different perspective on how psychology should operate. He thought that natural selection leads to organisms that are adapted to the environment. This theory is called functionalism. And the next stop on The Line of Time is Sigmund Freud, who we have talked about briefly. Freud's ideals were that of the unconscious mind, and he has deemed the term psychoanalysis.
The next stop on The Line of Time is Gestalt psychology. We have previously talked about Gestalt psychology, so we will move on.
Thanks, John. And just a couple more stops. The next stop on The Line of Time is behaviorism. And Ivan Pavlov demonstrated classical conditioning, and many others followed suit. John B. Watson and B.F. Skinner are both names to keep an eye on. And finally, the last stop on The Line of Time is humanism. Humanism sees the good in every person, and they think that there is room for growth. Humanism was developed by Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. Maslow is mainly known for his contributions to humanistic psychology. He developed Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which starts with basic needs and ends with self-actualization. Thank you for tuning in to The Line of Time, and we will be back after these short messages.
Are you feeling down and out, as if your life lacks motivation and meaning?
Yeah, it feels like I'm dragging myself through life.
I will introduce you to this new drug. 9 out of 10 doctors survive. The happy pill is the perfect solution to your crippling depression. The happiness will spread over you like butter. Happy Pill is clinically proven to boost your mood and make you feel like a new person. Just take 1 pill a day and you'll be smiling from ear to ear in no time.
Wow, that's amazing. But what are the side effects?
There are a few major side effects, but none to be concerned about. One might experience leprosy, Mongolia, and divorce. But do not worry. These side effects will wear off within hours.
Great, I'm sold. Where can I get my hands on some Happy Pill?
Just go to your local Walmart and ask for the good stuff. You can also get a 30% discount by stealing, because fines for theft are less expensive than paying for American healthcare.
Cool.
Happy Pill, because life is too short to be sad.
And welcome back, everyone, to W.H.A.T News. We are continuing our Psychology Fest by talking about classical conditioning and operant conditioning.
So, Mike Rack, what is the difference between classical and operant conditioning?
Well, John, it's mainly on how they are applied. So, take classical conditioning. It's a type of learning that happens unconsciously. So let's take Pavlov's dog, for example.
Oh, you mean that guy that gave his dog meat powder?
Yeah, I don't understand. Ivan Pavlov was a Russian psychologist, and I don't know why it's called Pavlov's dog when the dog probably had a name, unless in Russia they just don't name their dogs and name a dog. I wouldn't want to do that. I'm not Russian. I mean, I know a few Russian words, but that doesn't make me Russian.
Mike?
What's wrong, John? All right. Pavlov's dog. Yeah.
So, what about operant conditioning then?
Well, operant conditioning uses rewards and punishments to modify behavior.
So like if I were to give you a piece of candy, then you'd listen to me.
Oh, no, not quite like that. But before you make any other unfunny jokes, I just want to say I'm going to thank everyone for listening to our spiel about conditioning. And you will not want to miss our next segment because we have a special guest coming. We have gotten special permission to a guinea pig. We will use him and his life story in our next segment.
You should never talk about your colleagues that way. The guinea pig is just Bob, the weather guy.
You should really learn how to use metaphors, John. Oh, look, he's over there.
Oh, hey Bob. We are now going to tell you about the real story of Bob and his developing psychology throughout his life.
That's right. It all began when he was a baby.
Then, at around 7 to 11 months, he learned some of the most basic motor skills.
Next, Bob begins to babble, perhaps saying his first word.
Oh, I think he's about to say it.
Osteoporosis.
How unnerving.
Bob begins to learn the rules of the world.
No Pop-Tarts for you!
It seems that Bob's actions are becoming more self-motivated.
Now, in his teens, Bob doesn't know his role in society.
Graduation, college, all part of a young person's life.
I don't know, man. I think that he's lonely, struggling to socialize.
Quite a sad part of your life, menopause.
Males don't go through menopause.
Well, Bob, have you contributed to society, or are you a failure?
It doesn't matter. It might be too late.
Any regrets, or are you content? Osteoporosis.
A solid answer. Now, rest. Oh, we're getting a call from our reporter on the field. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to W.H.A.T News, and today we are in downtown Shoreburg to explore the world of psychologists. So we are here at this apartment complex here that I heard about on Yelp. So I am going to knock on the door, and we're going to see what happens. I don't know if that's supposed to...
Hello.
Oh,
What's
hello.
your name?
Oh, I'm Mike, and I'm here to talk to presumably that guy. You don't look very psychotic.
Oh, him?
Yeah.
No, he's not having visitors today. Sorry.
What about you? Can be my visit. What a bunch of psychos in there.
3:28 a.m.
I have a good feeling about this. Here we go. Come in.
Yeah. Hey, where's your friend? I thought he was.
What friend?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
What friend?
The one that was here earlier. I mean.
Oh, you mean Brad?
Yeah, Brad.
Hey, lad.
Oh, okay. That's actually perfect, because I wanted to interview you, because you're a master psychologist, and we're just happening to do a psychology newscast. And,
That's where his spreads as far. Yes. The world beckons to me with open arms, and I must deliver. After all, I have to save our country.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Don't tell anybody, but I'm actually a spy from France.
I'm not buying it. I don't hear the accent.
To save this country, we must overthrow the government. Save the Francais for the people,
Get out of here. I think it's clear when I look back on it.
What's clear?
I mean, what was happening in general, like the delusion of grandeur. I am the savior of my people. His people being the whole country of France. And I doubt he's even French. Man, they should give me more than a minute of screen time.
Do you ever feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders? Are you tired of candidates who make promises they can't keep? Then vote for David, the psychologist who has the prescription to make America great again. As a psychologist, David knows what makes people tick. He knows how to read you like a book, and how to make you forget all about those pesky problems of yours. And unlike some politicians, David actually listens to people. He knows the importance of empathy, and he's ready to put that knowledge to work in the White House. So, if you are looking for a president who has your back, who knows the difference between Freud and fraud, and who can solve any problem with a good talking to, then vote David for president. David knows that sometimes all it takes is a little perspective and a fresh outlook to solve the biggest problems. So why not trust David, the psychologist, to take care of America's mental health? After all, if he can handle your crazy uncle at Christmas dinner, he can certainly handle this country. Vote for David, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Welcome back, everybody, to Psychology the Broadcast. The next thing on our agenda of psychology is personality theories.
I really do have to wonder, where does your horrid personality come from?
Luckily, we might have an answer for that. The first part is psychoanalytic theory and Sigmund Freud. Freud's ideas composed of the id, the ego, and superego. The id is the part that contains our needs and our instincts. The ego is the one that is in touch with reality. It's the one that meets the demands of the id and the superego. The superego is the part that is the source of the conscience, and it counteracts the id.
Okay, so that's the psychoanalytic theory. Next is behaviorism. And B.F. Skinner, the behaviorist theory, believes that the personality comes from the environment. The differences in our learning experiences are the reason behind the difference in behavior, much like the movie Tarzan.
Very nice, John. I like that
So I
reference.
tied that together.
Yeah. One that I really want to re-emphasize is the humanistic theory. We talked about this one earlier, and once again, Abraham Maslow's name pops up. Maslow studied people that he thought were self-actualized, so he studied me and not you, John.
Hey.
Maslow found out that these people have emotional troubles. But even so, they found ways to be highly productive.
Sounds like someone I know. My crack, wake up, wake up.
I bit my tongue.
Can't you feel it in the air?
Feel what?
That, my good sir, is a perception.
Okay. That gateway might have been worse than mine.
I found it in this book I'm reading.
What is that? Is that like a psychology textbook or something?
In this book, It says a sensation occurs anytime a stimulus activates one of your receptors. It also says a perception is the organization of sensory information into meaningful experiences.
Yep, I'm having a perception right now. Might go unconscious.
Consciousness. The state of awareness.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We have to talk about all the sleep stages. Like REM. Like all the dreaming occurs, and then there's like NREM, which is like you're not dreaming.
Oh, I can recount to you my dreams.
Oh boy.
Most of them involving descending staircases. There was one time I talked to a guy in Spanish, but I don't think I said it right.
Hola, senor.
What?
Nothing. Thanks for the info, John. There's a lot of sleep disorders that we have to talk about as well. Like insomnia, sleep apnea, narcolepsy, and night terrors.
Do you have any experience with those?
None at all. Let's keep moving on. Topic is a much more serious one, so I need you to be a bit more serious too, John.
Fine, alright.
What are some of the mental illnesses in that book of yours?
Let me look. So, there are all of the anxiety disorders.
You mean like GAD?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. There's also all the phobias, panic disorders, OCD, and PTSD. Man, this book is really full of knowledge.
Yeah, there's also somatoform disorder, there's conversion disorder, hypochondriasis, and then
there's also broad types of dissociative disorders like dissociative amnesia, dissociative fugue, and dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, there's also a guy that can fit 400 straws in his mouth.
What?
I mean, there's like schizophrenia, there's major depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, and seasonal affective disorder.
Man, someone should make a song to memorize all these.
Scrolling down the street, I see a schizo. Have you heard of the Crazy Crew, John?
You mean the people that work at the Krusty Krab?
No, I'm talking about the new hotshot psychologists. I've heard they've done a little new experiment.
Oh, I think I have heard of this.
Yeah, they took an impoverished dude from Arabia and they put him right in the middle of an American urban town.
What kind of twisted experiment is this?
It's psychology, okay? And I'll show you some of the footage that we're receiving.
A group of social psychologists did a social experiment. A social experiment in social psychology. To see how a society would react when a foreigner is placed in their midst. Our team has tried to get him involved, put him in local activities, but everyone just finds it harder to empathize with him.
Hey, I'm walking in. Importers.
It seems like no one will receive his company around here.
Ah!
This isn't supposed to happen. Did you guys even read the script? I made it for a reason, Whatever. Cut the camera.
Oh, it seems like our feed got cut out there. I can't think of anything else to talk about that relates to psychology.
Me either.
So I guess that's just the end of the broadcast.
Let's go. We're done. Roll credits. Now I can get out of this stuffy outfit.
Oh yeah, me too. It's kind of
stuffy.
A little stuffy, yeah.
About the mind, the brain, behavior psychology's the science. It's the one that saved Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, unconscious thoughts, dreams, and the Oedipus complex, the unconscious, the conscious, and then you go to it, the superego, and the libido psychoanalysis, the talk and cure. It's the way to understand the human psyche. And what we say, B.F. Skinner, the behaviorist, the one.
Vive la France!
Ah!
What do you mean?
Ah!